I took a walk around the world to ease my troubled mind. I left my body lay somewhere in the sands of time, but I watched the world float to the dark side of the moon. I feel there's nothing I can do. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Robb Crocker Show, featuring myself, Alex Gonzalez.
Welcome back, Alex.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be back. JB is with us in the studio, and of course, the man of the hour, Robb Crocker. How's it going?
Hey.
Dance with the devil, walk with the angels, and the truth will set you free.
Absolutely.
If it ain't black, it's white, Gonzo.
Back at it again. Back with the catchphrases.
We're glad to have you back. We're glad to have you back. Zach did a good job holding the ship down while you were gone.
I heard good things. Yeah, and thank you. Good to be back as well in the US of A with the new president. Since last time I've been here. Very exciting.
Well, what do you think of it?
Relieved. Very much relieved. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's doing. On top of the stuff that's already been happening simply from him being announced as the new elected leader. So very exciting stuff coming.
It's like the 2016 election all over again. It feels right. It feels great.
It feels great.
Yeah.
I think this next 4 years is going to be even better than 2016 to 2020. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm going to concur with JB. I'm just
ecstatic.
Hoping he takes this opportunity and doesn't flounder with it, really utilizes the ability, because he has the ability in this 4 years to shape the next 20 years where people won't want to go back to what they'll forget that even happened.
Yeah. I think personally, he did have a good first 4 years as a president. I think that this time, however, he knows the game a little better. He knows how to recognize who is truly going to be on his side and who is a snake, part of the deep state. I think, long story short, he has a better idea of how to handle certain things and how to get stuff done quickly and effectively in this second term. And yeah, I agree. He has the potential to shape the future for a very long time, whether it's justices or certain laws that can be passed, having now the House and the Senate all at the same time. So I think it's going to be a lot.
I don't even know that it's that, Gonzo. I think it's the average person's state of mind if they feel comfortable with where America is as a country, to where people are just helter-skelter anymore.
No, yeah, I agree.
Go ahead, and I'll use that as a stepping stone into, I like to mention North Carolina, the Hurricane Helene. You don't see it anywhere in the news. Gone. But the unfortunate part about it is there's people in the mountains of Western North Carolina that don't have a house, don't have running water, don't have vehicles. Can you imagine, JB, if you lost your house and vehicle all simultaneously? What position would you be in today? Would nobody help?
It'd be very devastating.
Yeah.
So
very depressing, yeah.
the community across the country is what's been driving it. There was over, I think it was several, maybe 100 Amish people who don't live in that vicinity, who went there and built sheds out of their own money in their heart to help people. And then, unfortunately, the government, FEMA, who isn't helping because all of the hotel vouchers have expired, so the government shut it down and isn't allowing anybody to live in those. So they're back in the tent and on the ground, and it's cold.
Yeah, and it's getting colder. It's only November, end of November.
Yeah. So it's gotten cold, snowed. So that just goes to show you that the government had no common sense. We talked about it while you were gone, about how FEMA didn't help the people who had Trumps. And so that just reiterates. So there's people out here who are helping good Samaritans, but it's not enough. Government should be there. The government is still spending money, sending money to Ukraine. So why don't, the question is to both of you guys and everybody listening, please chime in and tell me, educate me. Why is the government not helping the people of Western North Carolina?
At this point, too, after the election and everything like that, I really don't have an answer for that. I think it's just, I can answer more of the whole Russia conflict, why that's going down the drain. But, I mean, the fact that you can't even use your last 2 months as a sitting president to help the citizens of North Carolina or South Carolina to have a better life after this disaster, which happened, it feels like months ago, so long ago, is absolutely insane to me. I think that my first thought always goes to they're going to somehow figure out how to blame it on the incoming president, but at this point, it's like no one believes this crap anymore. We're all done with the establishment, with the elites. It's just crazy to me. I honestly don't have an answer for you on why they aren't doing what they can do to help these people. I mean, like you said, they're sending hundreds of billions of dollars to a country that's not us, a country far overseas, which really is responsible or could be responsible for a lot of deaths outside of that conflict in the future. So I just hope that everything stays kind of peaceful until the next president gets in.
Well, what I fear the most, Gonzo, is he, with his actions, escalated by allowing Ukraine to use specific weapons that have not been. And Vladimir Putin made it very clear, if anyone, U.S. or NATO, attacks Russia, they will escalate. And then what happened?
Mm-hmm. And not only did the U.S. allow Ukraine to use missiles that recreated to shoot into Russian territory, the U.K. did the same thing. And part of the problem is these missiles have to be manned by essentially either U.S. or U.K. troops because they're the only ones that actually know how to use them. I highly doubt that they were able to train the Ukrainians to use this type of technology. So the clear answer is that we had U.S./UK troops there helping operate these missiles, which is even worse to think about.
We're involved, and I just, like you said, Gonzo, we got 60 days approximately before he's sworn in.
55.
And
counting down.
what?
55 and counting down.
All right, JB, keep sharp. So it's just what he's done just by winning has been tremendous. You can see how people across the world have reacted, and the United States of America, whether it's tariffs, like you have people leaving the United States of America right now on their own accord.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's tremendous.
I saw a video just today, actually, whether it's true or not, or whether it's him trying to be funny, but it was a guy driving his car through the border, and the caption was, deporting myself before Trump does it. So you're absolutely right. I mean, people have decided to leave after basically the incoming administration saying, hey, listen, you can leave now, or it'll be worse when we get in, and we'll do it ourselves. And as far as, conflict overseas, it seems like really besides the Russia-Ukraine thing, a lot of conflict is dying down. Actually, Israel has decided to supposedly slow down their invasion of Gaza. They basically said they're going to pull out. As far as the Russia-Ukraine thing goes, I think that the only reason it hasn't escalated further is because President Trump has been doing his best to talk with Putin, and I'm assuming Zelensky too, to say, hey, let's just basically he's trying to keep the peace right now. Like if you could keep the peace for another 2 months, by the time we get in, we'll come to a solution. Because Putin today, I think today or yesterday, he said himself too that he has talked with President Trump, and he does want to find a peaceful resolution. So I think that Trump is part of the reason why this hasn't escalated even further than it already has.
Well, what's going to be sad about it, when it's all said and done, they'll come to a checkmate moment, and Putin's going to say, well, this, and if you do this, the war stops. And Zelensky will have to give up parts of what they've been fighting.
Yeah.
So there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who died, had no meaning at all.
Right. I mean, Russia has essentially taken at least a third, maybe close to a half of the territory that Ukraine is holding. I mean, if you look at the map right now, it's funny because I've always heard, Ukraine is winning this war, Ukraine's winning this war. If you just look at the map of how much territory Russia has taken, it's quite a lot. I think that his biggest point of negotiation is he's going to say what he said in the beginning. I don't want Ukraine to be a part of NATO. That's going to be the biggest thing, and he's going to want to keep the territories that he's basically taken. So I think those are going to be the two big things. I'm sure that with Trump in the position as being the U.S. president, I think he can get it done. At least some sort of agreement. Maybe he'll be able to help both sides gain something back at least. But I think at the end of the day, the big thing is Ukraine cannot be a part of NATO because, like I said, and that was the whole thing originally. Russia does not want a bordering nation such as Ukraine to be a part of NATO.
Well, that's similar to what and how we feel about Mexico or Canada doing business with China.
Right.
Just like the Cuban Missile Crisis, too, right?
What's that, JB?
Just like the Cuban Missile Crisis, like we don't want Russia storing their stuff in Cuba.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
everyone has heartburn when it comes to that, and I can understand.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But so this is one of the things that people are warning cautiously about the tariffs Trump is wanting to implement on Mexico or Canada. If he were to do what he's saying he's going to do, and it would impact the Mexican economy, what would Mexico do? Would they bring Chinese manufacturing there? But the best part about it is, make sure I don't misspeak here, Gonzo. I would imagine the United States of America is probably the largest consumer of China goods across the world.
I think so. Yeah, I think they still are.
So I don't think that would behoove Mexico to say, all right, well, we're going to go this route, because it's Mexico, Canada, and China are our largest trade partners. But I don't know. I think that he's like we all want. We want him to be successful. So I'm hoping that hedonistic selfishness and pride does not get in the way, because I love every pick that he's picked for his cabinet. I like the decision to get rid of Gates, to put Bondi in there. I think he did a great job in Florida. And I think he made the right choice.
Yeah, I think what's funny about the Gates thing is,
It's a lot deeper than just what.
I mean, he essentially avoided, going through a whole session under the, what is it called? I always forget what it's called. But he essentially was promoted to, or he was going to be given the AG position, ended up stepping down from that. So he's no longer a congressman. People believe that he's going to be a senator now at this point. Some people are saying governor. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but he essentially will find a new place in
I'll run
politics.
for governor before I let Matt Gaetz become the governor of Florida. That ain't happening.
I don't think it will. I think
And I
Senate
like
makes more
it.
sense. Yeah.
I like the guy, but I thought it was premature. I don't know if he had to step down, before the announcement, but I thought it was pretty quick and irrational.
Yeah, I don't know. I always think there's something else that we don't know the full story, let's say, and I don't know if it was entirely planned or if it just worked out that way. But I do think that, he was a good pick, but this other lady is probably a much better decision.
If you remember
Yeah.
in the I think it was back in 2017 and 2018 when he was first president, he brought in Scaramucci, a New York guy. He cursed on the on Fox News, made a huge commotion, came in and fired a bunch of people, and then Trump ended up firing him. Trump loves to swap, with all due respect, pawns in and out of the game. So he's really good at what you call like a chess game, essentially playing 5D chess, where he's several moves ahead, always looking at the board. Because in theory, anytime you hire a contractor, once the job is done or once the position is filled, it's at-will employment, and they are to be removed.
Well, even with they've talked about it with Elon and Vivek in regards to the Department of Government Efficiency. They basically came out and said like it's going to be 2 years, and then that's basically going to be dissolved essentially, because they believe that they're going to get everything they need to do done within 2 years, and then it's going to be almost like irrelevant at that point.
Which I think will bring more light to the fact that political positions should be voluntary leadership and not a career position where you're paid for life and becoming a multimillionaire for helping your community. It should be out of volunteer work and helping out.
Well, it goes back to one of the things that I've said over and over and over and over again. A president has 2 terms. A senator should have 2 terms. That's 12 years. Congressman. Everyone should have a term limit. You should not get elected to go to Washington, D.C.
For your whole life.
there,
Yeah.
because you are an elected official that's there to do a job. And if you're not doing your job, you're going to get voted out.
Yeah. Term limits makes a lot of sense. I mean, too, let's say we cap it for congressmen at like 12 years, let's just say. You finish those 12 years.
That's 6 terms.
Well, guess what? Senators are also getting cycled out. If you do a good job, you could get elected as senator. If you do a bad job, maybe this isn't for you.
Well, I just think the fact that everyone has the opportunity, because most people, if you look at the career politicians, you look at the Senate right now, some of those people have been there forever.
Yes.
And if they were doing a good job, would we be in the position we're in as a country right now?
No.
So that tells you everything you should know right there.
Yeah.
So it goes back to what we're talking about, the excitement of Trump being in office and everyone who doesn't agree with him having a meltdown. And they are. I love the fact Ellen DeGeneres moved out of the country. Good on
She's
you.
in hiding.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people in Hollywood, the music industry, that will attempt to leave or try to leave for other reasons. That'll come apart in the next 4 years.
Well, I was very impressed with what Sylvester Stallone did. I
Yeah.
thought his introduction for Trump was tremendous. So I thought that. But going back to accountability and responsibility and dependability, guys, you've seen and heard Donald Trump ran on the premise. He got elected telling everyone he was going to deport illegals who have committed crimes. And overall, the American people voted for him. First time in 20 years, 25 years that a Republican had a popular vote. Now, as everyone knows what's going to happen, you have Democratic mayors, Denver, Colorado, saying he will fight ICE. He will go to jail. Tucson, Arizona, the mayor is saying the same thing. Me, personally, if you are a mayor or a governor in a state who does not allow the federal government to do what Donald Trump was elected to do, and there is a crime committed, a murder, sexual assault, whatever it may be, that victim and that victim's family should have the opportunity to hold you personally accountable because you could have prevented it if you'd allowed to remove the criminals. And that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
So why is it they're fighting it, Gonzo?
Why is it that who's fighting what?
Mayors not wanting to deport, Democratic governors not wanting to allow ICE to operate in their vicinity.
Well, I think it's
because it's a felony. It's a
yeah.
felony.
Were you gonna say something?
Well, several things here. From the legal standpoint, it's a felony, but until it's enforced, it's never really a felony.
Yeah.
But also, just from like a heuristic standpoint or like a Hollywood view, like at the third original set trilogy of the Star Wars movies, even in Return of the Jedi, after the Death Star was destroyed, you still have the remnant of people that would still resist just to cause friction against the good guys, essentially. They're just there to continue to be a combatant in the open war that we're having. That's essentially non-violent on our own turf.
I think too, some of these people are still a part of the system, and they essentially are being blackmailed into doing it. They're being blackmailed into doing all the things that they are doing.
Yes.
So it's basically the people at the top coming down and saying, look, you're going to continue to do this and hold the line so that we can cause as much chaos as we can and then try our best to blame it on President Trump. To make it seem like he's not effective at his job, he's not doing a good job. I mean, same back to the war in Ukraine. If they can leave Ukraine and Russia and this whole conflict a complete mess, and if they can make it as bad as possible, guess what? Trump gets in, he has a harder time dealing with it.
Well, I think he has the cojones and the wherewithal, and I really like the fact that he surrounded himself with all the people he surrounded himself with that are not career politicians.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think he has his whole cabinet picked before day one.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think
You said earlier, Gonzo, when he was there before, he didn't know what the swamp was really about. He was running on a granite,
Yeah.
but he didn't know how many alligators and snakes were in the swamp.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's two ways. Like he went in there in a defensive kind of mode where he can learn a lot, collect a lot of data, focus on who is a true Republican or someone who's a rhino or someone who's a true conservative and just simply wants the best for America, like a true American. And I think now he's coming in more on an offensive side and more on the attack. Not really on the attack, but what to look out for. He has more knowledge. He has a cabinet, like you mentioned. I think it's going to be a very exciting 4 years, and then it will continue to grow over time.
And two, yeah, a lot of the people that he has selected for his cabinet are considered outsiders. Not really. There's no one that has been you would consider like part of the establishment, a career politician. A lot of these guys are outsiders in some way, or a lot of these gals too.
Yeah.
I mean, Tulsi Gabbard is ex-Democrat, now converted to Republican.
RFK too.
Matt Gaetz, they all hated him. He's out now though. But yeah, you have RFK. He's kind of Democrat, kind of independent, but that's against the status quo. A lot of the people that he picked really are outsiders like he is in some sort of degree.
But I think everybody he's picked loves America.
Yes.
That's the thing that I'm so enamored with. They're not selfish individuals who are doing this for money. Elon Musk doesn't need money. None of those people need money. They're doing it because they want to truly make a difference.
Well, unfortunately, that's part of the reason why they're considered outsiders, because you look at the career politicians in the establishment, the American people have decided that these people don't care about us. They don't care about the country. They don't care about the citizens. But these people that he's selecting, they appear to have the best interest for the country, and that's what makes them outsiders, which is crazy to say.
What would we have to do? Could we put term limit on the actual national ballot when people are running, where the Americans get to vote for it, not Congress or the Senate?
I think one way you could do it is do it by state, but then you would have the issue of some states would have term limits on their own congressmen and senators, and other states would not, and that could run into an
Well, you
issue.
can only imagine which states would not.
Right, and that's an issue.
The same states that don't have voter ID.
Right, exactly. So we would have all the super left-leaning corrupt politicians stay in office, and then we'd have the more right-leaning conservative ones being voted out every 12 years or whatever it is. So that's kind of like part of the issue right
It's
there.
like halfway there. Then there are all their stupid elder jokes when they say that all the Republicans are so old. They can only blame themselves because they don't have term limits. They're there forever. They're lifers in politics.
Well, how do that? I want to figure that out. That would be something to figure out, because I think that would, especially with what the American people just did with this, I think that they would pick that up.
We have a comment asking if we saw that all the automobile stocks have dropped tremendously.
But you know what's going up? Doge.
Took a little dip, but it did go up it was at 50 cents for a while. Now it's at like 36 or something like that. I haven't.
The automobile stocks, because you've got Ford and General Motors. They manufacture quite a few automobiles in Mexico, so that could be one of the reasons. But I think over the holiday season right now, automobiles, there's not a whole lot of automobile sales. Plus, you got 2025 model coming out, and there's 2024 sitting on lots everywhere.
I think too, a lot of companies, bigger corporations recently had announced that they're going to get rid of their DEI programs, and Ford was one of them. I know for sure. I'm sure there's a bunch of other car companies that did the same thing. The problem with that for them is if they're a part of, I forget what that system's called. BlackRock basically decides if your company is in good standing or not, and that affects how your stocks will go. I think that might be pushback from decisions like this. So you got rid of DEI. You're no longer going to do electric cars by 2030. We're going to make sure that impacts you and your company.
I just saw today there was a slap in Elon Musk's face that Joe Biden signed a deal to give Rivian $6 billion to build a plant in Georgia. It's amazing to me that you have someone so incredibly smart who has earned everything that he has, being Elon Musk. He's never taken it. Yes, he has contracts with the United States government, where the United States government and other parts and pieces, I don't want to, in Boeing, hell, I'll name it, Boeing. Elon Musk is going to be the savior to get those astronauts back from space. He's a successful individual who runs a tight ship, and I can appreciate that. And the government's giving shit to everybody else.
Speaking of space, did you see that NASA said that their astronauts can use snorkels now in space? I'm not really sure I understand that.
Why would you need a snorkel? It looks like they're breathing pretty good while they're doing flips around.
That's a great question. Apparently, one of the astronauts got water in their suit. I'm not sure how that happened, but I don't know. Something crazy I saw today.
Everything I've seen looks like you're in a box. So, now, I did get water in my suit today. I was wearing waders, and I was trying to manipulate a pump to pump water from one spot to the other, and it became out of prime. So I was like, oh, I unscrewed the top of it, put my left hand on to get the pressure to come into the pump, and I could feel the pressure finally coming in, and I was like, well, this is fixing to be a problem, because I have to put the cap back on the hole. So I did it as fast as humanly possible, and it looked like a gusher of water. for about 10 seconds. As that progressed, water got in my suit, Gonzo.
But you weren't wearing a space helmet, so you wouldn't drown, right?
No, I didn't have a space helmet or a snorkel.
Okay. I'm glad you're safe.
I managed to be here with you guys tonight. But since I'm here tonight, let's talk about Branch and Barrel. I'm going to make sure next week that we've got some of that for you guys to taste. And while you guys are enjoying the base of cigars, I appreciate the cigar guys at Black Card Gear.
Absolutely. The best whiskey in Colorado, I've heard.
That is exactly right. As it's getting colder, you should have taken this with you when you went on your trip. Got beanies coming out. Black Art Gear.
Just in time for the winter. I'll still need one.
Well, in white, you can always be safe as well, Gonzo.
There you go. Look at that.
JB, you need this in that Cybertruck you got.
I do.
No one's going to be able to see it if you have the windows rolled up.
Well, I like to thank everybody who helps us put this on. And as it's Thanksgiving's coming down the pike, we all collectively have a lot to be thankful for. I'm thankful for both of y'all, for Zach helping us like we're going, Gonzo. Congratulations on being married and back safe.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot to be thankful for. I'm thankful for this show. Thankful for you, Crocker. I'm thankful that, like I said earlier, came back and we had a new president. That's awesome. Thankful for getting back safe. And I think that 2025 is going to be a killer year.
Well, 2024 went out with a bang with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Did anybody talk about that over there when you were on the other side of the pond?
No, I didn't hear much about that, actually. I think that was pretty much in the U.S. bubble. But
well, it's ironic. Both of them, you can think the fight was fixed or whatever you want. Good on them. They both made a tremendous amount of money. But what they did for one college Alabama student was make her one of the most popular women in the world now. The Ring Girl. She's generated over 1 million followers since that fight.
that's insane.
So, right time, right place. Plus, you got to be a woman.
Well, I say this all the time. If I had tits, I'd be world leader by now.
I jokingly say a lot if I were a woman, but I'd get in a lot of trouble right now. Because OnlyFans would hate me.
But yeah, I mean, that
JD,
fight, I think the
you
fight,
like that, didn't you?
personally, I think the fight was fixed. But again, I mean, it when it comes to Jake Paul and his boxing career, I mean, good on him, but it's essentially like the WWE where it's all for entertainment. So it's never going to be an actual fight. I think it's fixed to a degree. Everyone walks away with their money. Everyone's happy because they watched the fight that they said they weren't going to watch this time, but they still did. But it's all entertainment.
It crashed Netflix.
It did, yeah, it did. So Netflix is happy too.
What I think about it all is boxing is discredited by this.
Yes.
The actual Coolidge of Golden Gloves, people who grew up fighting and learning the craftsmanship and trade of boxing is gone by the wayside by the WWE. That's why I think UCF and Dana White is so tremendous, because you get two gladiators to get in that cage. It's entertaining. You see who the best is.
Yeah. No, I think
the next night, saw John Jones just fight.
I think the UFC for sure is like the top of entertainment right now. I mean, everyone watches those fights. You have obviously football is watched by a ton of people, soccer, all these, but for some reason, like the UFC, just everyone watches it. Even people that don't watch fights, usually they all get behind the hype. But two, like you said, it is true gladiators going in there and just like trying to kill each other, essentially. Thank God they usually don't. But it's that's pretty much as legit as it gets.
Speaking of Gladiators, did either one of you go see the new Gladiator movie this week?
Not yet.
No, I have not. I just can't get behind Denzel Washington being in the role that he's in. But I heard it was a good movie.
Is it actually a sequel or just a second
This
movie?
is Gladiator 2, which I watched the first one, which had Russell Crowe, which I thought was a tremendous movie.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
If no one's watched that, go check it out. It's entertaining. But Gladiator 2, I've seen 4 out of 10. I've seen 6 out of 10. But I made the mistake to go see The Joker. That may be the worst fucking movie ever made.
So were you aware
Yeah.
that it was a musical before you went and
No.
saw it?
No. I found out about 2 minutes before it started.
Oh.
So, out of respect, sitting there, the seat I was in didn't recline. I was like, this is pretty bad.
Yeah,
Really bad.
you
About the time we
essentially
left,
you
Lady
essentially
Gaga.
sorry. Yeah, you essentially were like, I bought the ticket. I'm already here. I guess we'll just get it over with.
I was thinking it might be raining outside is why I stayed. I don't. But it was absolutely. Now, you know what? I personally say it's the worst movie that I've ever seen.
Wow.
But I think the actor Joaquin Phoenix, he should win an award for that. Because he was tremendously talented. He played the part and he did all of that shit really well.
He is a pretty incredible actor. That is true.
I really liked it in the role he played as Johnny Cash. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
No, I actually haven't seen that movie.
I think the first movie I saw him in was the movie Signs. Came out like 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I recommend that movie. It's Joaquin Phoenix as Johnny Cash and Reese Witherspoon as June Carter Cash. Very good movie. Very entertaining. So, but what do you guys think of the meltdown of the election where Alec Baldwin thinks that Crocker is and Gonzo and JB are stone cold, uninformed American?
Well, I appreciate he called me out personally, but I think Alec Baldwin has lost his mind, and I think that he is lost all credibility
You know what?
as a
You
human
know what,
being.
Gonzo?
I think those that are the loudest
Alec
have the
Baldwin-
most to
Alec
lose.
Baldwin is a spineless, ballless bastard who got lucky he didn't get convicted for what he did on the set of Russ.
Yes.
He won't even take a question about it. So if he had 1 ounce of backbone, he would stand up and say, you know what? I messed up. But he can't do that. Instead, he's over in a foreign country bashing the three of us and the rest of the Americans who voted for Donald Trump. And that's a good-looking Coors Light, Gonzo.
Yeah, I just switched it up today. I needed some water instead of whiskey.
Good. Good.
Speaking of whiskey, Branch and Barrel, the best whiskey in Colorado.
Hell yeah. I think, no, like you said, Alec Baldwin, here's the thing. Like, I didn't even know that happened until you said it. And for me, it's like, if I see Alec Baldwin on the screen, I instantly tune out. There's a lot of people like that, a lot of celebrities, people in Hollywood. I'm just like, all right, whatever he's going to say, whatever she's going to say is bullshit anyway. So I'm just going to stop listening.
The only reason people in the music industry in Hollywood have money in the first place is because we paid, like you went to see that movie Walking Phoenix, you paid for some entertainment temporarily, right? Like a mini dopamine hit. We're not paying them or care to listen to any of their political views. And personally with Alec Baldwin, he's always been an anti-Trumper. I think those that are the loudest have the most to lose. So why is he so anti-Trump?
Yeah.
Or anti-American
Oh.
beyond that?
I grew up watching Saturday Night Live when Saturday Night
When it was
Live
good.
cool.
Yeah.
When it was cool. And now everything has become to the complete right side of the world. And Michael Jordan has still to this day has the greatest quote ever. Republicans buy tennis shoes too.
And actually, we got another comment. This is an interesting topic. I don't know if you've heard of it, but they asked us if we heard about what Butterball Brad is doing to the turkeys. Did you hear anything about that?
I know Crocker is molesting 2 butterballs in my kitchen.
Well, they're supposedly sexually assaulting turkeys. I don't know how that works, but I saw that before we got on the show, and I was like, I don't have time to look into this right now, but I did hear something along the lines of that. So I don't know what's going on over there, but I guess I'm having ham for Thanksgiving anyway, so I don't have to worry about that.
Well, we're having ham and turkey, and we had a discrepancy on how we were going to do turkey and the size of. So we have a 12-pound. I think it's going to get conventionally roasted in an oven, and I'm taking turkey and doing the. Yes, it's the dot cut, cutting the spine out, breaking its back, putting it on the green egg, and smoking it about 3 hours.
That's all.
That's a lot.
No stroking or anything like that.
I'm not molesting anymore.
Okay.
I'm over there giving it a hot tub right now.
Okay.
So, what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving, JB?
This year I'm just staying locally with immediate family.
You cooking, or are you going to depend on someone else to cook for you?
I'm traveling, so I'll bring things, but I already got the turkey. I already delivered the turkey.
So you're like the provider, and then someone else is going to be the preparer.
Yeah, I did a little bit of both this year, so.
So he's stroking and getting stroked.
But yeah, I'm going to be with family as well. I won't be doing any cooking. I usually leave that to my mother and grandmother. They take care of it. I just kind of show up, have fun, eat the good food, say thank you. I'll bring a bottle of wine or something like that. But I
You'll
leave.
appreciate this, Gonzo. I was told I cook all day and then / drink. Then I don't even eat. So I just get the enjoyment of doing it.
Yeah.
But it's when you really think about it, at my age, I've eaten the same stuff on Thanksgiving: green bean casserole, cranberry something, turkey, gravy. I hate to say it, but every day in my life is exactly the same, whether it's a Monday, Thanksgiving, Thursday, or a Christmas. It's just psychological. I work. Okay. I don't just do it. I can't. I don't know why.
No, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think especially if you're someone that works a lot or you're just very busy, it helps to have the routine because it takes less time. Like for example, Mark Zuckerberg, he would talk about how he always wore a black T-shirt and jeans because he didn't want to have to figure out what he was going to wear. So he just wore the same thing every day. So if you have that routine,
Really?
yeah, Crocker too. If you have that routine, it just saves time to do all the other important stuff.
But he actually washes his clothes.
Well, a story. There's an individual who doesn't like to wash clothes. And when I was in a better position financially, and I didn't have a girlfriend or wife or anything like that, clothes piled up in the corner, and I would just buy new every week. I would have a lot of jeans, a lot of pants, and a lot of shirts. So, JB, I should have taken your advice and not done and smelled bad.
What, you just donate those clothes every week?
Well, it's interesting when you have you can only imagine. So, but with Thanksgiving coming down the pike, I do want to really let everyone know how important it is to never take a second a minute, an hour, a day of your life. We're all very that we're here. Y'all are healthy. I'm somewhat healthy. Depends on what day it is, I guess. But everyone this time of year, depression becomes into play. And just always know there's somebody out that's here for you. And the Robb Crocker Show, you can email us. And if you've got any issue, anything's bothering you, Gonzo, one of us will figure out a way to try to help you.
No, absolutely. I mean, you're right. Unfortunately, the happiest time of year for a lot of people is the most depressing time of the year, which is sad to think about. But I agree. It's easy to take things for granted, but especially this time of year when you're getting together with family and friends, enjoy the moment and not take it for granted. Because I mean, especially as people get older, you just never know.
And just the second today, I was walking. I had a really good day, evidently, but I was walking and there was a vine. I tripped on it. I could have fallen and hit my head and bled out right there. But unfortunately, someone has a bigger and grander plan for me that's going to continue putting misery on my shoulders. But that's why I dance with the devil and I walk with the angel. Every night before I go to bed, I don't pray out loud. I internally tell myself and ask God for forgiveness if I were to not sleep. I would go to heaven.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. It's he has a greater plan for all of us and everything that we do in our lives. It's easy to try and take control of certain things, but at the end of the day, putting it in God's hands sometimes is just the easiest thing, and yields to better results.
I just got a text that do we have any emails or anything into the show tonight? But this person was telling me giving someone 16 seconds can save their life. And you would never really think about it. But I guess just hearing someone and understanding they're in pain may solve that. Like you said it very eloquently. This time of year, there's so many people with happiness, but then there's so many people who are internally dealing with it. So, like I said, anybody can always reach out to the Robb Crocker. There's people who look at the emails, whether it's you, other people behind the scenes, but whatever we can for the holiday and any time, we'll help you.
Absolutely.
We'll find a way. So let's get off of that negative subject and let's get on to something happy. We're going to welcome someone new to our ship next week. We're going to have a guest in the studio, a writer, creator, Richard Chassion, with a movie that he has coming out called Boys in the Red. And I'm looking forward to this interview. I'm looking forward to hearing this story. I'm looking forward to how it became to be what it's going to be. From what I've read, what I heard, it's going to be from the program, Karate Kid. It's talking about an athlete who was dealing with internal problems with his father, who decides to go to one of the most elite lacrosse programs in the country without a scholarship, even though he had scholarship offers from other schools, to walk on to show his father that he could do this, looking for his approval. Have either one of you guys ever tried to do anything for your dad's approval.
Yeah, I think as kids, naturally, you find yourself doing certain things to gain the approval of your dad or your mom or your peers. I'm sure that I've done it plenty of times. I mean, I've every day I do try to live my life to make my parents proud, and I appreciate when my mom or dad does tell me that they're proud of me for whatever reason. I think that's natural as a kid growing up to look for some sort of validation from your parents, of course.
Well, from what I've read, it's a story of determination, rebellion, and the quest for excellence. So we should all be entertained next week to kind of just play it out. I know that Matt Dillon's going to be an actor in the movie, Julian Edelman. So it's going to be a tremendous story. So it'll be interesting to hear what we hear next week.
I think Bella Thorne as well, Isabel May, a couple other people. But yeah, it looks like it'll be a good movie for sure. The pamphlet you sent me is very professional. It's got a lot of people behind it, so it sounds like it's going to be a good film for sure.
Well, I'm looking forward to our show next week with the first in-house guest on our ship. Let's try not to make him walk the plank, JB.
Absolutely not.
So, but the one thing that I want to congratulate you on is, number one, I don't know how you were gone for the length of time you were gone. How did you manage that psychologically, being away from anything and everything, responsibility, and afford it?
Definitely. Well, I'll tell you what, I wasn't completely away. I was still doing work as much as I could while being on a honeymoon. But I just, for the most part, enjoyed my time there. Fortunately, spending the day in Europe, people haven't even woken up yet. So by the time I get back to where we're staying, everyone's getting to work. So, I can kind of communicate with some people. But it was a very enjoyable trip. A lot of sightseeing, a lot of stuff to see. A little bit of concern because some of the places we went to were maybe they could have potentially been affected by this whole conflict that's happening with Ukraine and Russia, but we're fine. Actually, we did have a situation happen when we were leaving. We had a layover overnight in London, unfortunately. And the day we were supposed to leave, we were going through security, and they evacuated the entire airport while we were going through security because they found a banned item while going through TSA. I talked to one of the officers there. He basically told me that it was something that was explosive. So long story short, we don't have time for the full story, but I had to book a plane for the next day. Same exact flight next day, so I got home safe, but it was a crazy situation. Absolutely crazy.
Haven't you had this happen to you before from somewhere else?
Yeah, I think it's just my luck with leaving Europe, but last year when I left France, it wasn't as crazy as that, but basically we missed the flight, and it took us like 5 hours to try and get a new one. So it made it back home safe. No explosive threats this time, or last time I should say. But yeah, this time was crazy. We had to stand outside of the airport in like 40-degree weather for about 5 hours. We couldn't leave the property, and we obviously couldn't go back inside. So it was honestly the worst part about it is seeing, parents with babies standing out there in the cold, just waiting to figure out what's going on because they didn't make any announcements.
That would not have worked well for me psychologically.
No,
because I don't like being contained.
Yeah, I mean, and no announcements or anything, no updates. That's why I talked to the police officers just to be like, hey, how long do you think this is going to be? What's going on? And he assured me that it was necessary. It wasn't some like BS thing. Like it wasn't someone found a knife or anything. It was something pretty crazy. So he said, it's definitely worth it that we took the precaution. They tried to get us back in as soon as possible. And then, of course, it was chaos after because everyone's trying to get a new flight. But it was a full day event, to say the least.
Well, we got anybody else before we start wrapping up tonight that has a question or anything?
At the moment, I think we've answered everything, but we got 5 minutes, so if anyone has anything else, we'll be sure to tackle it before we log off.
Well, talking about what we've talked about tonight, guys, we always have the walk the plank segment. I want to bring in a curveball to that, a highlight of the week for us,
Ooh.
to where we can bring the positivity into everyone's
Nice.
life.
I like it. Yeah.
So, because we always have stuff that we want to get rid of, but let's talk about what's making us happy. So, JB, you go first tonight. What is your highlight of the past 2 weeks since we last were together?
Besides Gonzo coming back,
That's my highlight, being back.
well, I was glad to have you back. Last week we kind of skipped, I guess.
Yeah, with my travel got jacked up with everything just got convoluted, so I do apologize. That's the first time we missed a show, so.
Yeah, but you can always text me or Gonzo. We can always shift a day or make it work or move the hour.
Whatever we can do, I just want. There's people who like it, and if we, like I said, whatever we can do to reach out and bring value to life.
I would say my highlight of the past week or two, obviously besides being back in this great country, which is going to be made great again, I would say just the excitement of the holidays coming up, honestly. Coming back and realizing that Thanksgiving's around the corner, which means that Christmas is around the corner. It's honestly my favorite time. My birthday's also in December, so it's a busy time, but it's also a very happy time. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, and to start a new year off with Donald Trump, it'd be 20 days, New Year's Eve. So very exciting.
Well, my highlight of the week has been I've been able to get a lot accomplished. Every time that I get to spend time with my dad now, I just realize how lucky I was to grow up with him and to learn how to be a man and to do and be able to fix things, to know how to, and just, he gave me common sense. He taught me common sense. So I am thankful for my father for this holiday season.
Yeah, I thank God every day for the people that do have common sense, because they make my life easier.
All right, JB, what do you want to get off the ship this week?
Oh, I thought we were going to skip that.
No, we're not skipping shit. We're going to give a little bit of positivity. We're still getting stuff away from us.
I really don't have anything.
Man, I wish my life was that good, Gonzo, that everything just was so sweet.
I don't know. The FCC just approved Starlink to have direct connection to your cell phone, so now it makes it easier for people to connect. So, essentially, the mini satellites you're selling may no longer be needed. So we might not have to resort to a Verizon or T-Mobile or things like that. So people like were attacked by a hurricane essentially might have an easier way to connect and come back and recover faster, maybe. But I think the FCC could walk the plank, and FEMA's reaction can walk the plank for the past two hurricanes, I think. Or at least the one in North Carolina for sure.
Yeah.
I would say walk the plank, unnecessary conflict, whether that is in your personal life or whether it's like what we talked about earlier, Ukraine and Russia. There's a lot of things going on that can be deemed unnecessary, especially with Thanksgiving coming up. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people dealing with drama, family drama, probably unnecessary drama. So I'd like to walk the plank on that.
Well, I live my life where less is more until more is needed. And I want disease, cancer, anything that impacts all of us that could be prevented to walk the. I'm dealing with a situation. I'm not dealing with it. I'm watching other people deal with it, and it's dementia. And it saddens my heart. It saddens my soul to see someone who knew where she was yesterday and has no idea what's going on today. And that there's no medical procedure, there's no medicine, there's nothing that can rectify that with all of the technology that we have. And I think that I'm hoping I'm going to go to JB's, JFK, JB talking about the value of what RFK Jr. is going to bring to the ticket.
Yes.
When it comes to stuff like that. I think that that's going to be a tremendous asset, that there's so many things that none of us know that happen behind the scenes. And I'm hoping that he pulls the curtain up.
Absolutely. And I do agree. It's sad to see Joe Biden go through what he's going through when it comes to dementia. It is pretty sad to see him not know where he is, what he's doing. But I did want to say, too, happy Thanksgiving to everyone watching. Many blessings to you and your family. And happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Crocker. Can't wait to see you next week back on the show. And make sure you guys as well subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can stay updated with when we upload new episodes and new content on the channel. Make sure you check out all the links down below, whether it's the email you want to send us, Blackheart Gear, any of our sponsors. They're all going to be listed down there in the description. But thank you guys for tuning in. Final words, Crocker.
I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. If you're frying a turkey, remember, fire extinguishers don't work.
Yes, sir.
Keep it away from the house.
That'll do it. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.
All right. Have a good night.
See you guys next Tuesday.